What is up, friends? On this episode of the podcast, we have the always spiritual Natasha Bouton, so I hope you guys enjoy. Natasha Bouton.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good. I know it's been a little bit of a trouble to get you on here. I know we were supposed to do it like 2 weeks ago, and then you and my fiance fooled me.
Yes,
so
we
I could go to
did.
Chicago, and then I ended up getting a cold from going to Chicago because there's too many people there. And finally you're here, and we have now a time frame.
Yes, we're on
so
a
we
crunch.
so we can't be too long.
Perfect.
But we're going to make it happen. So we were supposed to do it this morning, and you rush because that's what you do.
That's my life, man. That's my life.
That's my life too. I wing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have no plans. We were trying to buy a wall mount last night in Menards, and I was there for 45 minutes trying to decide whether or not I should buy it. So I can't decide anything. I'm very bad.
Amazon, man. Amazon.
Oh, we shop on Amazon. We probably like number one sellers on Amazon or number one buyers.
Right.
We spend a lot of money. We probably get like at least 7 or 8 Amazon packages a week,
Oh, my goodness.
maybe more. So it all depends. So how's life?
Life is crazy right now, to be completely honest. It's, I feel like I had this crazy experience in October, and it made me, well, I'm just going to not even beat around the bush. The spiritual awakening I had in October, it made me really kind of analyze myself and my situation, and I feel like since then I kind of started doing that and hit rock bottom, and now I'm coming back up from it. So everything is chaotic right now, but it's going good. I have a lot of things on my plate, so I'm just trying to survive.
I think, yeah.
know.
It sounds like me. I suffer from serious panic and
Yes.
and depression and stuff.
Yes,
and it's like,
yes,
oh my
yes.
God.
See?
And I don't take medicine for it. So, and I have medicine. I have, Klonopin but I don't take it. And even though I do CBD, I don't really even take that
Right.
often.
No, me either, because
So-
I forget.
Yeah.
I forget.
So, and I have to deal with that. But so you hit rock bottom.
Yes. See, so I love that you brought up the mental stuff, because I have depression, and it's something I never wanted to recognize. So I had those thoughts that would come in my head, but something inside me always immediately shut it down. Like, nope, you're not depressed. You can't be depressed. You have too much going on or whatever. But it turns out I just am someone who always kind of wants that stressfulness of life. So I just put so much on my plate until I literally can't handle it anymore. And then I'm like, shit, I'm breaking down, and then go down, and I always come back up. So right now I'm just on that uphill battle back up. But it's the worst that it's ever been, because I think that spiritual awakening really made me see everything for how it is. It made me understand why I'm living this life,
Yeah.
this one, the way that I am. So it was a huge awakening, and it made me realize I can't keep doing this. I have to change some things to find true happiness. Otherwise, where am I going to end up,
We only have one life.
And that's not true. That is not true.
I've seen, like I said, I follow you on Snapchat and stuff.
Right.
So I've seen your Snapchats.
So, yeah, supposedly I'm on my 6th life, and I killed myself in my last life. And it just, when I heard that, it hit me on a soul level. Like, something inside me was like, that happened. I
Yeah.
know it. I know it with a fact that makes so much sense on why this life I was born and wanted to be a mom from day one. I was like, let's go. I'm ready to get my life on track. I'm ready to do this again. Something about this life has always been a comeback for me. It's always been like revengeful and like, I'm going to show them.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird when it finally comes full circle and you really understand who you are. It's a lot to take on.
Trust me, I understand who I am, and I'm like, Jesus, this fucking guy.
Well, me too, man. Me too, but for different reasons, I'm sure. But it's crazy. And then when you like need someone to be there, my family is so So if you're not happy, they don't want to deal with you. They're real like, everything's peachy, everything's fine. If you got problems, don't tell me about it. You got to put a smile on. I was raised that way, so I've always been just happy-go-lucky.
Right.
That's who people know me as. But
that's bad. Yeah, it's bad. Because I mean, for me, and I'm sure it's like for everybody else who has depression. I mean, when the lows are real low, you know, they're very low, and the highs are pretty high.
Right.
You know, the highs are pretty high. My family's they're. I mean, for a long time, so I suffer from anxiety and panic, and this started, I don't know, like 2011, 2012. My family's all like, oh, it's, you know, it's okay. Like, you just be fine. Just don't think about it. Just whatever. And it's like, that doesn't work that way. That's not really how it works. And Haley's family they're very like, I'm not real big on hospitals and doctors and stuff.
Right, me either, really.
And they're real big on that. Like, we'll just go to the doctor and, you know, get some Zoloft or Valium or whatever, you know, make you feel better. But it doesn't. It's super addictive. Like, antidepressants are just as addictive as like Oxycontin or so on and so. I mean, they're just as bad.
Yes.
So I didn't do any of that, and I've just dealt with it. But I mean, it messes your life. I mean, it'll fuck with you.
Right.
It really will fuck with you.
So you don't use any medication at all?
I use none.
Still to this day?
Yes.
Why?
So when I first started, when it first started happening, I was actually working for Charter, and I was a sales guy. So I was going door to door, and it was super stressful. And one day I had this panic attack, and I didn't know what it was, because I had never really had panic in my life. When I was a child, I did, but then I didn't have it forever, you know. And I was like, what is, you know, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And then I started having depression. Well, I went to the doctor and I got put on Zoloft, because I was on Zoloft when I was in like third grade. I had separation anxiety. Well, it didn't help. You know, it just made me just whatever. So then I went back and I tried Lexapro, and that did the same thing. All it does is just numb you. It doesn't fix the problem. I mean, it's not fixing the issue. It just numbs whatever connection in your brain is malfunctioning. So you're just kind of like, whatever about life.
Right.
Whatever about love. Whatever about whatever.
Right.
And I didn't want to be that way. So I stopped taking it, and then they put me on Klonopin, and like, you can take, which is a Xanax. And I just didn't want to take it. And then I was like, I just finally was like, I'm not taking this shit. I'm not gonna do this shit. Why? I'm not gonna take this dumbass medicine and deal with this shit. I'm just gonna do what I want to do and deal with it myself. I'll figure it out. But it messed me up. Like, I couldn't go to work, because I have a fear of vomiting. Okay. So like, I'd rather cut my arm off than actually get sick. Like, that kind of sick.
Do you know where it stems from?
I have no idea.
See.
So now I'm like, if I have a slight weird feeling in my stomach, I'll get a severe panic attack. So for me to go to work, it was like super hard. It's like, well, oh my God, I don't feel good. Oh, I don't feel good. It's
That is so interesting to me, because you've never in this life puked in front of someone and like been embarrassed or anything.
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, like I've gotten sick, and I mean, everybody's vomited, but but
to have a fear like that is not normal.
Yeah, not I don't think I've ever done it where I was like, oh my God, this is embarrassing, because I'm really not that type of person.
Right.
Like, I'm really not the type of person that's like, I care about what you think of me. Especially if I don't know you. If I don't know you, like, what does it matter what you think? So
that makes me think, because ever since The Psychic, I started looking into I'm reading this psychic book. I can't remember who it's called, like Your Psychic Self, I think, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And she says when you have fears like that, they either come from this life or they can come from a past life. So,
I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's really weird. So my grandma was a hardcore Christian. I went to church. I was a Christian. So my grandma was a gypsy. So was her mom, which they're palm readers. That's what they do. And my grandma, it says and always has it. It was a work. It's work of Satan, right? It's the work.
Right.
When you read palms, the work of Satan. It's really bad. My mom's mom, or my grandma's mom, was a scary woman. She was a short, little scary, and she was a terrible. I mean, she sold my grandma into prostitution when she was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but she read, excuse me, she read one of my aunt's palms, and what she read was true. I mean, it actually came true before it happened. So, I'm not saying I don't believe in that stuff, because I'm not necessarily a Christian where I believe in God, but I believe in weird stuff.
Right.
I believe in weird shit.
Well, I think it's just like with every other profession, you got to find a good one, because there's good psychics and there's bad psychics who realize, oh, people will just believe whatever you say if you can read their eyes and try to find the right thing to tell them. But the one I seen in Vegas, man, I'm telling you, was like on point with everything she said. Like something inside me was just like, holy shit, you know who I am. And it was just like the weirdest thing. I've never felt anything like that. And I was getting calls from like a higher power to see the psychic before I even seen her. So I don't know. I think there's people too that will just never get it, or you never get it in this lifetime or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just,
I think there's a lot of people who don't I don't know. Like I said, I believe weird shit.
mm-hmm.
Like I believe there's a whole lot of me's on a whole lot of Earths in different time frames.
And do you know who Joe Dispenza is?
I do not know who that is.
He's a neuroscience person, and he talks about that as well, how there are actually like different planes, and you can be like living two lives at one time.
That's why I believe you have deja vu. So I believe that there was a different me on a different Earth who's already done it, and then I do it. You know, I had deja vu just like a week ago. I was putting these chairs together, and I was like, I've done this before. Like 100% I've done this before. And then I did it. And I did it the same way that it was like this weird deja vu.
And you know what deja vu means in a psychic realm? They think that you picked this life. So your soul picked to be born to Nate's parents. And when you have deja vu, that's like the universe telling you you're on the right path.
Interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, like I said, my grandma, if she was alive, she'd be like, honey, this is not how it is.
Right.
You know, God made you. But there's just too many things.
I can't put all my faith into one person like that. I just.
Well, I mean, it's one man.
Right.
And then so the Bible's written by a man. I don't think a lot of people really understand. Like they read the Bible and they go, well, I follow the Bible. But the Bible's really contradictive of itself. So being gay is a sin. That is a sin in the Bible. But Adam and Eve were brother and sister, and they had sex.
Right.
So that's a sin because that's incest. Their kids had sex. And listen, you're telling me that throughout this whole time, there was no man who experimented with another man or a woman who experimented with another woman. So the Bible really contradicts itself. And God he wouldn't have written, the Bible wasn't written in English because he didn't write English. He wasn't from America.
Right. And if I understand it correct, didn't he like abandon us when Eve ate the fruit, or that's when he like? Yeah.
It's the whole thing. The whole thing is very contradictive of itself.
Right.
So that's why I don't know. And then there's this one guy, and the other thing for me is a lot of good people have it very bad in life.
Right.
And a lot of very bad people have it very, very good. So you're telling me one man who can change it, he has the power to change this, says, I'm not going to change it. The thing about Christians, and nothing against Christians. If you're Christian, good for you. Like I said, I was raised one. When you're a Christian, you go to church, you come home, and you're supposed to speak the word of God. So when you're out in public, you're supposed to speak the word of God. If you don't, that's a sin. So therefore, you get punished for not doing that. That's a cult. So that's what a cult does.
Yes. I think all religions are kind of cult-like. It's just whatever one you want to belong to.
Yeah, and in a way it is. And so for me, I don't know, man. I used to pray all the time. And then I just thought, Jesus, like, there's a lot of bad people who got it real good.
Right.
But they don't. So the reason they have it so good is because God can't control them, because they're not saved. They're not obeying him. They're not, so I don't know.
See, but I like that you brought up praying, because I think there is power in prayer.
Yeah.
And I think I believe in the idea of a church, because it brings like-minded people together to all manifest or dream or wish the same things, to where I think if we could make more like friendly environments where we could all come together to manifest different things, like the Joe Dispenza guy I talked about. He actually does healings where they all come together and they manifest they've made people who are blind not blind anymore from like-minded people manifesting the same thing. And he's got the proof. He said in one of his videos, as soon as he can get his success rate to like 95%, they're going to be going into, and don't quote me, I'm not sure if it's 95%, but he did quote, as soon as we can get our success rate to this percentage, we're walking into children's hospitals and we're going to start curing people, because they've done it time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of him, but I don't watch, so I don't like watch any spiritual stuff. I don't, I don't know. Not that I don't look, I'm for whatever anybody wants to, think or be into or whatever. For me, I don't know. I think that I don't know, man.
It's very unknown. It's hard to know, and that's where I'm like, how can I even say anything about this, because I've never been raised religious, or I've never read the Bible.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
I don't think it does, exactly,
No.
because oops.
You're fine.
I'm over here clapping, getting excited.
You're fine.
I don't know. Something just inside me knows. So they told me I'm an old soul. I feel like you've got it. I feel like I'm probably an older soul than you, but I know you're not on your first life. I can just tell. But you find people that you can tell they're old souls, and then you find people who are just like, what the fuck are they doing on this planet with this life? They're just wasting it. They just don't get it. And I think it's just a journey for everyone. From what I understand, everybody has a different amount of lives. The friend I went to Vegas with, she's only on her third life and only has 2 left. When I'm on my 6th life and I have 3 left, I'm like, why do I have more lives than you? At first I was like, because I'm broken and my soul takes longer to figure it out. But then another person was like, I don't think that's it. I bet you have a bigger purpose. So you're going to be here longer to spread the word or whatever your purpose may be. So it's just you create your own reality, so you make it whatever you want to make it.
You do.
I feel like if you can't face the truth, that's when God is a good thing, because some people just can't realize that they create their own reality. They need someone to grasp onto, and that's why religion was created, because I'm sure the world back then was probably going ape shit when people realized they create their own reality, and some people were taking advantage of it and creating bad things. Yeah. That's where the devil comes into play.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. A lot of people are like, they pray, because they need to believe that somebody is giving them that exact thing, whether it be a new TV, whether it be a new car, whatever it is. So I'm not. See, it's weird. Like I said, I was raised a Christian, but I'm not so much that. I don't know. I just think, if you want something, it's pretty easy to get stuff. You just have to work, and then you make money, and then if you want it and you have the ability to buy it, then you can do that. If you don't, well, then you don't get that item. But I don't know. That's when it comes to materialistic things. That's the way I see it. You go to work, and then you make money, and then you can buy it. When it comes to other things, like things that aren't materialistic, like a car accident, So I've had one moment in my life where, when it comes to, so I was in a car accident when I was 16, and I got hit. Someone hit me on my passenger side. He was going 60, and he was driving a Tahoe, and I was in an old Cutlass Sierra. It was one of my first cars, and I was at a stop sign. He didn't have a stop sign, so it was H and A, highway H, and then A goes this way, and he hit me. And then I woke up on the stretcher, right? So I don't know what happened.
Right.
But during this whole experience, there was a woman, okay, 100%. There was a woman who helped me out of my car, sat me down on the side of the road. I gave her all my information, my social security number, who I was, told her where I lived. But when I was in the ambulance, I said, where's the woman at that helped me out? Because she was wearing a paramedic uniform. And they said, look, dude, there's no woman, man. You were in your car, like you were in your vehicle when we got here. Mm-hmm. We pulled you out. Now you're going to the hospital. And I said, no. I said, I gave her my wallet. I told her who I was. So I've had one moment in my life where it was a weird experience. And when I told my grandma, she goes, that's your angel. That's the angel that's looking over you.
Mm-hmm. Spirit guides is what I like to call them.
Whatever term, spirit guides, angels, however,
Mm-hmm.
You want to say it. And I said, because it was, and I walked away with some serious bad whiplash and, like 5 stitches inside of my head.
Yep.
And I mean, I probably should have died. Like that was, my passenger door was like to my hip, and the weird thing is, so when I pulled onto H, I never wore my seatbelt when I was a kid. So when I pulled onto H, there was a moment where it was like, I should put my seatbelt on.
And you put it on.
And I put it on.
Shut the front door.
No. Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
It's weird.
That's got to make you feel something.
But everybody thinks I'm crazy.
No.
Well, I
get it.
Yeah,
No, my aunt is very... She does not like me going down this spiritual realm, and she's just, everyone is going to be stuck in their ways. Some people are going to think I'm crazy. And I've come across people that think I'm crazy. So guess what? I'm like, cool, we'll change the subject. I won't say nothing about that to you no more. And what do you want to talk about? Football? Like,
yeah. No, I watch your stuff. I think you're super interesting. You're pretty funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just tread through life.
Man. I really am. I'm winging it. I won in the military. I won a chili cook-off by winging it. And I think I'm sticking with the winging thing. It's working out for me ever since then. So I can make a mean chili. If anyone wants my chili recipe, don't ask actually, because it's confidential. I'm not going to share it because I've been winning some chili cook-offs with it. But
oh, that's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just I kind of go through life. I kind of wing life.
I think
everything I do is winging it.
You can't be too serious. Like
no, this podcast. I mean, this is winging it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm a part-time web developer, was full-time, but part-time web developer. And I said, you know what? I want to start a podcast. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to work any of the programs, nothing. And then I just gave myself a month and...
it looks good to me.
Here I am. Mm-hmm. Here I am.
Sounds good, looks good. Hey, I wouldn't say you're winging it anymore at this point.
I just wing shit. I wing everything. Starting a business, I wing it.
Yep.
CBD, I wung it. I'm still winging that.
I'm still winging it too.
That business is tough, but so me and Haley lived in San Diego for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
When?
This was way back.
How long have you two been together?
Almost 11 years.
Okay.
So,
you got me by 1 year.
Yeah, so it'll be 11 years in January.
Okay, cool.
So we started dating, and I was working for Alliant Energy up here in Wisconsin. I was a contractor. And we had known each other about 8 months. She just moved in with me, I think, a few months earlier. And I said, look, the job is done here in Wisconsin. So I can either move to northern Wisconsin or I can move to San Diego. I'm going to drive a company truck. They'll give me a bonus. And I said, do you want to go? I mean, you've known me for 8 months. And she's like, I'm sure in her mind, she's like, well, yeah, even if we don't stay together, I guess I get to live in San Diego or whatever.
Way better than here, probably.
Yeah. And this was in 2009.
Okay.
So we drove.
I'm still in high school then. What the hell?
We drove down. And we had a Cadillac Eldorado, and then I drove a company truck. So she drove the car, I drove a truck, and a friend that also worked for the company I worked for, he drove with us, and we were going to get an apartment together. We drove down there, we got an apartment, and I worked for San Diego Gas and Electric, which that trip was, I mean, at that time, I'm not a fan of California now, but at that time, California was actually a nice state. Like, it was worth living in.
I've never been, for the record.
Yeah, I think people there's a real misconception about California and like what they see on TV to the actual what it actually is in real life.
Right.
They just see beaches and oceans and palm trees. But so we moved
Same
there.
as South Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole different thing. Like when you're there, there's so much more to it.
Right.
we lived there for a little while, under a year. And then I was like, man, I miss my family. It was only me and her down there.
Right.
And I was 20 years old, and I was making like $6,000-7,000 a month. I blew everything.
Dude.
We blew everything. I mean, I didn't save a dime.
I was doing the same thing, but just on the opposite coast in South Carolina.
Yeah, just I didn't save nothing.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go buy 5 pairs of shoes, and I'm gonna go do this. And we were always going to LA and all this other shit. And then finally I said, look, I mean, we gotta go back. Like, I miss my family, you know. So we did. We packed up the Cadillac we had, and we just drove back. It was a 52-hour trip back because we had car problems.
Oh my gosh.
It was a terrible trip, but it was a really good trip. So we came back, and we started a recycling company, and we did that for 5 years, and that was a super, super successful company. But we started that with $1,500, and we won the shit out of that.
Like, what do you mean recycling? Like, you picked up people's recycling, or?
So we started in Rockford, and we rented out like 5,000 square feet, and then I called a news station, and they did a live interview with me.
Oh my goodness.
On a Rockford news station, and people would bring us all of their electronic recycling.
Oh, like those big, old, bulky TVs that nobody wants?
Yeah, we would take those, and then we'd take like this kind of stuff, and we took it apart, and then we'd send it in, and then it would get melted down for the precious metals, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We started with $1,500. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, and then we ended up doing. We had contracts with Salvation Army, Best Buy, Goodwills, American TVs.
I love that.
Yeah, we did every Salvation Army in the world.
So now what?
We were in it it was about 4 years in, and we were in Janesville. We still had the building in Rockford for storage, but we were here in Janesville.
Who's we? You and Haley?
No, me and my parents,
oh,
my family. So when we came back to Janesville, we got into business with a business gentleman here in town. I'm not gonna say his name, so we went into business with him, and we lost, I don't know, probably like $130,000 in that deal. And then we went out on our own with no business partners, and it was really good. We got a bunch of contracts. We were doing really well, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. And my dad's like, they didn't want to do it anymore. They were, getting older. And I was like, I'm not taking this thing. I don't want to do this. This isn't my thing.
Right.
So we sold all the contracts we had to partnering companies, and then we closed the name because I don't want to sell the name.
Right.
Because it was Green Enterprises. And I was like, well, I don't want to sell the name.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
nice. I was on the green team in high school, just for the record. I like to recycle too.
Yeah. So we did that, and it was really good. I mean, we did that for a while, and we got some really big contracts, and I lived off that money for a little while, but I started businesses. I did printing, screen printing for a while.
So you're just all over the place is what I'm getting.
Fuck yeah. I'm all over the place.
So am I. I have like 4 jobs right now, and I realized I don't think I'll ever have another job where someone has to tell me when I got to be to work, when I can work, when I can't work.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, never. I'm just going to wing it and have all my handful of jobs here, and
that's
as
my
long
thing.
as my bills are paid, who cares?
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I'm not. I can't. I haven't worked for somebody since early 2010.
Nice.
So
I'm still in high school then.
So
I'm a baby.
It's been a while. Like, it's been a while, and I when I started the CBD thing, man, I poured money into it.
Right.
Oof.
Amen there.
I poured money into that, and that.
It sucks now because they got CBD on every corner.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's
the
big problem.
CBD.
It is very, but people don't know that. They just think it's convenient. It's easy. I'll just grab it from the gas station. Then it doesn't work because it's crappy CBD that's diluted with God only knows what.
Yeah.
And then they don't even want to try another one because they're like, I already been there, done that. It doesn't work. And I'm like, no, you got schooled. But
like I said, I hated hemp works. I hated them. But I mean, the oil's good. Look,
right.
for the record, the oil is good. I liked it. When I first was gonna get into that, I obviously I got a bottle, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't bad.
Right.
It didn't fit my plans.
Right.
But when it didn't fit my plans, I hate these. I just hated the way it was, because it was a multi-level marketing, and it wasn't the company selling their own brand. It was everybody else selling their own
Right,
brand.
but there's genius behind that when you really think
I mean,
about
listen,
it.
the owners are making a ton of money from it, and I'm sure there's people in it that are making money. I don't follow it really closely,
Right.
so I don't know, and I don't hate them now. Now I just don't care. Now I'm like, whatever, good for them. They're just making a bunch of money. Great, I don't
Right.
get it, but having your own brand is even harder. So
Oh, I believe it.
Sometimes
I like having that name that I can be like, oh yeah.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just, because I do everything. So we make, I mean, everything is
Right,
made
your
ourselves.
label, everything,
we,
right?
we make our own gummies. I don't use any third party.
But how do you make your gummies? Are they infused or are you
So-
spraying CBD on them?
No. So there's the oil. It's infused with the oil that you put in your mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's infused with. So our oil is made with MCT and hemp seed oil. So
Okay.
it's got both in there because MCT
Can
is.
enlighten me on the MCT thing? Because I really
It's-
don't get why you want it in there. I
it's,
get it helps it go into your fat cells. But
Yeah, it's just a carrier oil like hemp seed oil. I mean, it's not. It's
is
not.
it cheaper? Like,
It's a little easier to work with and it doesn't have a taste. I think the
okay.
biggest thing is that there's no taste and there's no color. So if you're trying to get a certain taste or a certain color, it's going to be a lot easier for you. To whereas hemp seed oil has
the taste,
that
strong hemp taste.
So because when I first started doing this, I wasn't using full spectrum. I just was using isolate. So it would be mixed with isolate and then use MCT oil to mix it with isolate, and it was just a clear liquid. And then I didn't want to do isolates anymore, which is good. I mean, it's good, but it's just CBD.
Right,
That's
right.
what it is. It's just the purest form of CBD, and that's it. There's nothing else with it.
Right.
And then I bought some broad spectrum wax and made an oil out of that, and that was okay. It wasn't bad. And then I bought some full spectrum wax, and that was okay. It wasn't bad. And then I said I'm just gonna buy it by the pound. So then I just bought pounds of raw cannabis flower, and then I just said I'm just gonna extract it myself.
Oh my goodness. How long does that take? It's a whole process.
Yeah, so it's not. I mean, it's not bad. The way I do it is a little different. I don't do it with CO2, and I don't do it with like butane or anything like that. So I use a steeping method to extract all my stuff. So, because I didn't want to spend the money to buy these huge machines,
Right,
that take to extract.
right.
I mean, you can extract it with CO2 without the machines, which is just a easy. You can use
I think it's dangerous.
You can use Everclear, which I've done. So, but when you evaporate Everclear, you got to have it in a ventilated area. Otherwise, you're going to get drunk
Right.
because it's Everclear.
Who doesn't want to get drunk at work?
But no, I use a steeping method. So I take the cannabis flower and then I put it in the oven, or in a oven, not in my oven. It's all done in a food grade kitchen. So all with stainless steel.
Right.
So it gets put in an oven at about 220, 225 degrees for about 40 minutes, and that just activates everything inside the cannabis flower.
Okay.
And then it gets pulled out, and then I put it inside of the MCT and hemp seed oil, or just hemp seed oil. It doesn't have to have MCT in it, but it'll attach a little quicker inside your body with
Right.
MCT oil. So I put it in a mason jar, usually a big mason jar, and then I put it in a huge type looking crock pot thing at about 170 degrees for about 48 hours. And that draws out all of everything from the hemp flower into the oil.
Very well.
And then you strain it, which you have to strain it a couple of times, obviously, so you don't have any particles or anything
Right.
like that. And usually when it's done, it's not green. It's gold.
Yep.
Depending.
I've seen a can of butter be made before, and
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like that process a little bit.
It's about the same. Yeah. The
Yeah.
only reason, the only reason that like cannabis is, the oil is green is because there's hemp seed.
Right.
But if you extract it, it should be more of a goldish, a little bit more of a goldish color.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you think our oil is more green then because of the hemp seed oil being the
yeah.
carrier?
I would assume so. Yeah.
Right.
Your guys' oil is. I've had it. I like I said. I
love the taste.
I don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't.
Right.
When I got it, there was a lot of times where I had anxiety or even nauseous, and I took some of that, and it did work.
No, I really,
So.
Like you said with the medications too, I've always not wanted to take any
Yeah.
antidepressants or anything like that. And I think being on CBD for the whole year has kind of put that big awakening on hold because it was helping me with
Yeah.
my mental issues to where
It does help.
it does for sure.
It does. I mean, any good oil.
Right.
Like any from a reputable company.
Yes.
Like I worked with a couple. I mean, HempWorks is obviously, I don't know what the stats are when it comes to like what companies are bigger than other ones. I have no idea.
They're the fastest growing network marketing company out there across the board.
Yeah, like I'm not, I don't, like I said, I don't really follow that because then it makes me, I'm like, Jesus, they look at these huge companies. So I don't usually do that. But like I worked with a company called Medterra. I worked with them for a little while. They use mostly isolates. I also worked with a company called CB Distillery.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, they're really good. They got broad spectrum, full spectrum. And then I also worked with another company called Joy Organics.
Okay. Did you know that we have broad spectrum now?
I saw that. Okay. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I mean, I like what you guys have. Like with me, I only have, the oil, the gummies, and the flour. I mean, I have other gummies, but there's no CBD in them.
Right.
So, but yeah, my biggest thing is, and I remember I was like, man, I don't want to use anybody.
Right.
So
I get that vibe from you just from this conversation.
I just want to do everything myself. Right. I don't want, and
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just more work. Like to me, I don't want to do all that myself. I'd rather just, buy my franchise, so to speak, and run with it.
Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, because you have your own brand.
Right.
So it's hard.
It's a lot easier to sell the oil when you can back it up with that known brand.
Yeah, having your own brand is difficult.
And the third-party testing. Your stuff probably is not third-party tested.
So I've had some. All my flour is.
Okay.
But when it comes to the oils and the gummies, I don't usually send that stuff out.
It's expensive, isn't it?
It can get expensive. Yeah. Right. Like if I tested every batch, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It would get expensive, and it's not so much that I don't want to. I guess for me, it's so my flour's tested, so I know the consistency of my flour, and that's what I'm using to make my oil and my gummies. So I know the consistency of my oil based on knowing the consistency of what my flour is.
Right.
So that's why I don't send my oil and my gummies out.
That makes sense.
But all my flour is third-party tested. Yeah. Because it has to be by law, because it has to be below 0.3%.
Yep, I hear they make you like burn it all now. My friend's she's big with the hemp and everything. I was going to the farming bill and everything.
Yeah, I was going to grow this year, this 2019. I wanted to grow 1,000 plants, but I didn't get my license in time. Next year, I might get it. Maybe we'll see.
It's questionable if it's even worth it at this point. I feel like in my head,
it depends on what. Like for me, it's like I buy it by the pound,
right?
But I've grown it before. Like I've actually grown a hemp plant
in your closet as a kid with the light.
Yeah, so it's not hemp. So it's not. There's a misconception too there. I think that is a little. I think everybody calls it. So the stuff I buy is cannabis. That's what it is. It's just been manipulated to be below 0.3% so they can classify it as hemp. But actual hemp is not. It's very different. So most of the stuff that from a reputable company that's making oil, they're growing cannabis. It's real cannabis, just like marijuana, but it is just below 0.3%.
Well, hemp is cannabis.
Well, yeah.
It's just like citrus, citrus, and you got an orange, and you got a lime. It's like cannabis. You got hemp, and then you got marijuana.
Yeah, so for instance, the stuff that I buy is, it's all grown from actual cannabis seeds.
So
from
marijuana seeds is what you're saying.
Yes, but it's just manipulated to be below 0.3% THC.
Right.
So
what isn't manipulated, by the way, nowadays? Everything.
Everything is. but no, but the CBD thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a good business, but it's tough. Like it
is.
I don't know. For some people, it's probably like I don't do anything. So I don't do vendor event. I don't go and set up tables. I don't do none of that.
I do all of that.
I know. I know. I don't do. So I don't do anything. I do. And it's funny is I'll sit here and I'll go, man, I don't know if anybody bought anything on Monday. And then Haley goes, well, what'd you do? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, because it's just online. Like I don't. Like I'll sell to friends and family in person, but I don't have a store or anything like that. Because Janesville, they're not.
No, I looked because you can do storefronts with HempWorks, and I looked into it, and it's not worth it. I'm like, why would I pay to rent a store when I can just do it out of my house like I have been for free?
Right. Yeah. So I just do everything online, but it's difficult. So for me, I process credit cards. And I've been shut down. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, Square canceled my account when they found out I was selling CBD through it.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. My account was just shut down. And I was like, what?
Yeah, you got to do it secretly.
I know. But now they're welcoming me back because now they probably realize.
Yeah. Well, I think they're working on, I think they were doing some sort of a trial thing for hemp. So like I have a business. I own Green Family Holdings. And because I'm a part-time web developer, so I have different things that go through one holdings company. And Hemp Canna, because that's the name of the CBD company that I own, is through that. But we're not a CBD company. We are a nutraceutical company, so which is like vitamins and skincare and shit. Because with my bank account, it's not. Yeah, so
the banks won't even take your money. I heard about that too.
Yeah. So,
what the heck?
And I processed credit cards when I first started. I used Stripe. They shut me down after about 2 weeks, and luckily they didn't hold my money. They gave it to me. Then I went through another company, and they shut me down. That took about two to 3 weeks. Then I started processing cards overseas through a high risk process, so that the money would get processed overseas, then it would come back to the U.S. into my bank account.
Did they take a lot of it? A good chunk?
Yeah, there's a high percent there. Yeah, so now I use a high risk credit card processing company, which they run my credit and all this stuff, and I have a higher percentage that gets taken from me. But when it goes back to my bank, it doesn't say what it was for. It's very hidden and it's very hidden, very exclusive. It's very weird because people go, what you're doing is illegal. For number one, it's not illegal.
Right.
It's not illegal. The banks frown upon it. So if they know what I'm doing, it ruins my business.
Right.
So you have to be secretive. But I've had so many problems. I've had so many issues with it. And when I started doing it, the legality of it was not the way it is now.
Right. Same here.
Me having flour in my house was illegal. It was like illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
times are changing.
I know, it's very interesting, but what sucks is you have so many people that are on the bandwagon.
Yeah. That's
a problem. Like there's vape and juice here in town. They're a vaping company, but when they found out, oh well, man, we can probably make some good money with CBD, they jumped in it.
Everyone.
And the problem is so I don't like dealing with people who don't I don't like talking to people who don't know.
Right.
I didn't know a ton about it, but I was a regular marijuana smoker throughout my life. So I knew about that, which is similar. I mean, it's the same family. Yep. So yeah, I don't know. It's a super interesting business.
It is. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in 3 or 4 years, because I think all those corner shops, those gas station CBDs, they're just going to be gone. No one's going to.
Hopefully. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, with me, I don't know if I'll continue to do it. Even with my own brand, it gets hard.
You probably should, just for your own health.
Yeah, it gets,
for your own health.
It gets hard.
You know about the endocannabinoid system, right? And everything.
Yeah.
So you need to take it. to take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do it much, and I mean, I have it. Like I said, I probably have about 2 pounds here in the closet. I got gummies and mason jars full of oil.
I gotta try one of your gummies. I'm so curious.
They're pretty good. I don't know how HempWorks makes theirs.
They're infused. That's why I was asking, because I hear some people just spray the CBD.
Yeah, you can spray it, or they use isolate, which isolate's not bad, but if you heat it up, it loses some potency there.
Ours is made
isolate
with the broad spectrum oil.
Yeah, that's different. That's not isolate. So. Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like mine aren't made they're not there's gelatin in mine. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's gelatin in ours because the CEOs want it to be so healthy and pure.
Like vegan, vegetarian. Yep. So mine aren't that because that's the cost. There's more cost associated with that. Like Haley gets gummies, like vitamin gummies, and the colors are all natural.
Right.
And
same with ours.
So and with mine, I can't. They're not.
You're just you can't.
Yeah.
Fork all that money on some fancy ass gummies.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to, and it's hard because I don't know if I would sell somebody else's brand, but I want to brand it myself. But to do that, you got to spend a lot of money. You got to buy a lot from that company.
Right.
Like if HempWorks had a good deal and they allowed white labeling, but they had a good deal on white labeling, they
would never though. It's HempWorks.
But it doesn't make sense for them as a business.
Right, exactly.
So I'm all about money.
I'm catching the vibe. I can feel it.
Yeah, like I'm all about money, and I took care of a lot of the recycling stuff, all the business side of it, and so I'm pretty business oriented, and I didn't even graduate high school.
Really?
No, I mean I have my diploma now.
Right. Did you go
But I did it at home.
Like online?
Yeah, I did it online. Yeah.
So tell me about that. I'm curious. So when did you decide?
Eighth grade.
Eighth? You didn't even go?
I dropped out towards the end of 8th grade.
What?
Yeah.
What did your parents say? What the hell?
So what happened was I was going to Edison
That's
Middle
where I
School.
went. Woo woo, Eagles.
Yeah, and I wasn't a troubled kid or anything like that. I don't know, but something happened, and I remember I left that day. I looked at my dad and I said, "I'm never going back." I said, "I'm not coming back here." And my dad was pretty strict, and he's like, "You're going back." And I remember going home, and I told my mom, I said, "I don't want to go back there." I said, "Why? Why do I need to go there? They're not teaching me anything. They're teaching me nothing. I don't need to know any of that stuff. I want to know life shit." And my mom said, "Okay, you don't have to go back, but you're going to be homeschooled. So you're going to have to do work here. And if you don't do work here, then you're going back to school." And I said, "Okay." So they put me in a Christian homeschool. Well, that didn't last long because they found out it was crazy expensive for the Christian homeschool.
Right.
So then I went to it was a online school called Penn Foster. And I did that for a little bit, and then my cousins would skip school and come over to my house, and we'd smoke weed, and
while your parents were at work,
yeah.
and you're supposed to be doing schoolwork.
Yeah, so I did that, and basically, I think my mom, they just gave up after, not like gave up, but I think they were just like, man, this is just like, so I went mostly through life, and then I started skateboarding at like 13 or whatever, and I did that for about 10 years. I was pretty good, sponsored, went on tour, did all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I know nothing about you. I'm a horrible guest on your podcast show. I am so sorry.
No, it's fine. Well, we've never even met except for at Walmart that one time. So it's fine. Yeah. So I and then I don't know. And then it was 25, 26 is when I finally got my diploma.
Wow.
From Penn Foster, because I said, I guess I'll get it so that when I have a kid, at least they know they need to graduate high school. But I don't believe in it. So I don't believe in a high school diploma. I don't believe in, they don't teach you anything.
So you've always had an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah, they don't teach you nothing in school.
Right. No,
they're teaching you.
I don't remember anything I learned in high school, to be honest, but I did smoke a lot of pot in high school, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I was also very smart, had a great GPA and took honor math classes.
Yeah, see, I probably didn't have a good GPA.
Yeah, no. I'm too worried about what people think. So I could never just say, oh, fuck this, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm not doing high school. Because in my head, I'm like, nope, I need to be someone people can look up to.
Were you popular? Were you like a popular girl? Or?
At first. But then I always got way too clingy to my boyfriends. And was like, fuck all my friends. I got a boyfriend. That's all I need. To the point where senior year, I had no friends. And my husband had already graduated. So I ate lunch in my car by myself my whole senior year. That's where the old soul comes in. I didn't vibe with them. I'm like, I'm way too mature for these people. I just didn't. It was like a waste of time trying to build those fake like high school friendships to me. I didn't have time for that. I really didn't.
And then you went into the Navy? Was it Navy?
The Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about. I mean, I respect anybody who's been in it and has done it, but I don't know the difference. I know there's like Army and the Marines. That's because my cousin is in the Marines, I think, and he's at Camp Pendleton.
That sounds right.
Because I always say Pendleton, but I worked in Camp Pendleton.
Yep.
When I was down there.
And I was in Paris Island the whole time on the South Carolina, the East Coast. Yep, the whole time. The whole time. That's where they train female Marines. And then I went to school in North Carolina, and they shipped me right back to where I came from.
How long were you in? How long were you
Just
in the Marines?
One enlistment.
So
4 years.
Okay, so it's 4 years. So you're 4 years away from like your home, like say you live in Janesville. So you're 4 years wherever they put you then? Basically,
yes. But like you go to training. So there's 13 weeks of Marine Corps training.
And that's hard.
It is hard, but it's all mental. That was the sign in life that let me know everything is mental.
Did you throw up? Did you throw up during that training? I bet you did.
No, I don't think I did. It's so funny you asked that. I was bitch slapped across the face on like week 1 by a drill instructor. And I'm like, thank God that happened, because to be honest, it's weak. Like, they need to be harder on us. Like, there's too much freaking politics in it now, and they can't really just go force.
Right.
Like, they have to.
They got to baby people around.
Yes. And I was pissed. Like, when I was done, I was like, are you serious? Like, that's it?
So you had to get up at like 4 a.m. and run and shit.
Yes, every day. Every day.
How many miles?
The most I ever ran in boot camp, though, was like 3 miles or like a little over, which is hard for me. But
what else did you do? What do they make you do in boot camp? That's 13 weeks?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
You do a lot of drilling. So you're marching around with a rifle and...
Is it loaded?
Nope, it's never loaded, because the recruits would turn on a drill instructor and probably, you know how many...
Well, I know now it's
each
crazy.
other.
I know now it's crazy.
It's never loaded. It's only loaded when you're on the shooting range to learn how to shoot, because every Marine is a rifleman. So if you can't shoot, you're getting kicked out. You're getting kicked out. So, which I almost did. I was shooting with iron sights. Now they use RCOs.
Okay.
So it's like a fucking telescope, basically. But before, when I was in boot camp, it was iron sights. And I'm pretty fucking blind.
Yeah.
I'm like legally blind without glasses or contacts. So it was hard as hell. I was like shooting at blurry shit. I couldn't see anything. And yeah, I had to stay. I almost lost it, but thank God I finally shot marksmanship. And then when I got to the fleet, they call it, and I could shoot with the RCOs, I shot expert. I'm like, what the fuck? I was doing this with an iron sight when I could have had a fucking telescope attached to my shit this whole damn time.
That is funny.
It was kind of annoying, but
so you do 13 weeks of boot camp,
Yep,
which is hard. Okay, it's grueling. You know, if you're weak, don't do it. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
If you're physically weak, go for it. If you're mentally weak, probably go in the Navy instead.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you didn't throw up, but I'm sure there's people who are vomiting for sure.
Oh, for sure. There's people pissing themselves during runs. It's life or death out there for some people.
Definitely.
They don't know.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it. I mean,
I remember this girl. We're doing a PFT. We're a physical fitness test, and we've got to run 3 miles. It's timed. And I look over. She's moving her shorts to the side and pissing while she's running. And I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? You are nasty as hell. And she's like, gotta go. And just runs past me. I'm like, oh shit, she's running faster than me. Maybe I need to let some of that weight go. And like, I didn't, but for the record, I'm just like, oh, it's weird. You see some crazy ass shit in military.
I mean,
boot camp.
I would piss myself. I don't know about shit myself. I'd piss myself if I had to, but vomiting, I'll throw myself in front of a bus before I do that.
See, I wonder that's why you're so scared of it. I think it's got to be a past life thing.
So that's why I couldn't do that.
Maybe you were traumatized and you were raised by like shitty parents who made you puke and eat your own vomit.
Oh God, I don't know.
So, oh my God, have you heard about those haunted houses where they make you?
Yeah.
They literally make people puke and then shove it back in their mouth.
They got crazy. There's the crazy haunted houses that basically it's just people who want to torture people, but they can do it in a legal way.
Yeah.
So
and some people like that weird ass shit.
Some people are into that. I'm like, listen, if somebody tries to grab me, I'm gonna knock you out. So I'm a huge. I'm a gun guy, okay? And I'm a huge Second Amendment guy. I got my concealed carry here in the state, and I carry everywhere.
You got a gun on you now?
I don't have it on me right now, but I do have it in the other room. Okay. And it's always loaded, so there's always one in the chamber.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Don't come to his house. He's packing heat.
Yeah, I got shotguns and some rifles and stuff like that.
Right.
But I would probably carry it with me, and I would be in that haunted house, and they'd grab me. I'd probably pull that trigger.
No, and that's exactly why I feel like I cannot carry a gun, because I would do some shit like that.
Yeah, like especially in that, like I'm pretty good at if I'm out at I'm not like crazy like I'm just gonna. But if I was at a haunted house and I felt threatened, and if I had it on me, I mean.
Well, they have rules to where you can't take weapons in there, probably for that reason.
And they probably would search you, but I would never go to one of those anyway. I'm not gonna.
You don't like being scared?
So you know what's funny? I'm not a big fan of Halloween, and I hate scary movies.
I love all of that.
I know, so does Haley.
I love
Haley's
like,
into the
to
scary
be
movies.
Scared, hide in the house, jump out. I love the adrenaline of the
Yeah.
The blood rushing
No.
when you get scared. I love it.
I sit here at night. There's been few nights like we're on the second floor, and so for someone to break into my house, they have to break into the bottom door and then break in the top door.
Right.
There's no way that
You'd
I wouldn't.
hear 'em.
Right, and I'm a little bit of a light sleeper, so I don't really sleep too heavy. And I there's been nights I've sat here and I'm like, and I hear something, and I'll grab my gun and I'll go and I'll
That's
take a
the
look.
anxiety coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all the time. It's only happened.
Right.
We've been here 2 years now, and it's happened maybe a couple of times.
Well, no, I think that's good. My house has been broken into a few times in South Carolina. So I do have, I don't know why, but I have the fear of like terrorist. I think it's the military. I do. I'm like, when are they coming for me, man? Like something in my head, or like I have this weird thing with mass shootings. Like I can, and it freaks me out now that I know about the psychic stuff. I keep having visions of mass shootings, and
Jesus.
I'm like, why am I having this? Am I gonna be somewhere when a mass shooting occurs? Like, it's weird and it creeps me out. I try not to even think about it because I know how manifestation works. If I think about it too much, it could come true. So every time it pops in, it's like, get away. But I'm like, why is that thought still coming back? It's very weird.
That's why I carry a gun. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I want to get a gun.
Because if I was in Walmart, if I was in Walmart and somebody started shooting, and it sounds weird and whatever, but if I died protecting people, I'm cool with it.
So you would be the one to just pull out your gun and try to take down the shooter?
Yeah.
That's not a good way to go, I don't think. You need to run.
If I was in Walmart and I had my, obviously I always have it on me, and somebody came in and started shooting, I would do the best that I could to protect whoever it was in there that I could protect, even if I didn't know them, just because. And if I died, if I got shot, at least nobody else died.
See, I get that because you don't have kids. But since I have kids, I'm like, fuck no. I'm hiding in the clothes. I'm like I'm army crawling till I can get to the exit, and I am dipping. I'm out.
I don't know. I've been like that though. I mean, even if I had kids, I'd probably be the same way.
Maybe it's because you're a man and I'm a woman, and I'm like, fuck that shit.
I don't know.
I'm not going down.
I'm very much like, I'll do what I have to do. If I have to, do this, or if I have to take a bullet, or I've never taken a bullet. I'm never in the military.
Well,
nothing
me either.
like that.
I was never deployed, never shot at, or anything like that. So I don't know what I would really do in an intense situation like that.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, I don't either. But like, I've gone out. Me and Haley. I go out, a guy that I know, I did work for him. He owns like 200 acres, got like a little private shooting range. I'll go out there and we'll do like little drills with my guns, and just to be, because if you are going to carry a gun, make sure you're aware of it. Make sure you use it to carry it, so that you're familiar with the gun that you have.
Before.
So like me and my gun, we have a relationship, is the way I put it, because I know it. It knows me. I know it. There's one in the chamber at all times. And the way I carry mine is more towards the front of my body. So if it goes off, it's going off in an area that would be very detrimental to my life.
Right.
But it won't go off.
Amen
I mean,
to
it's
that.
like it's not going off.
Right.
But I have a relationship with my firearm. I've fired thousands of rounds through
good.
it. If you're going to go get a concealed, in Wisconsin, it's very easy to get concealed carry.
No, I'm thinking about getting one. It's so weird. Me and my friend just talked about that last night about going to get it together.
It's too easy. It shouldn't be the way it is
right.
here. I'm a big gun guy, but there should be some training. There's no training. You just
really?
go in. Yeah, you just take an hour class and then do an open book test. You're good.
You don't even shoot a weapon at all.
No, you don't shoot a weapon. No, it's really unfortunate. So when I did mine, I was in a class with 20 other people. Maybe 3 of us knew how to handle a firearm.
What are they teaching you then?
They teach you, they're teaching you like the laws on if someone breaks into your house, how, can you shoot them, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then they hand out real guns just with dummy rounds. Let you put one in the chamber and pull it back and put the magazine in. But these people are they're like looking down the barrel. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't want to do it. I'm like, well, it's just a dummy round. I'm like, right, but even if it's unloaded, you always treat it as it's loaded. You always treat a firearm as the firearm is loaded.
Right.
And, but I had shot guns before I went to this class. I mean, I grew up around guns. My family hunts. Everybody was hunting. I've been, shot bows and guns. And, I mean, one of my cousins probably one of my friends, I think, has somewhere around like 30 guns. And he's got AKs and ARs and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, I've shot all different kinds of guns, So for me, it was nothing. It was like real easy. I didn't even need to take the class, but there should be about 5 to 6 hours of training shooting with an instructor.
No, I agree.
Because a lot of people don't even know how to handle or shoot a firearm.
Right.
And listen, if you've never shot one ever in your life, it's a super adrenaline rush. I mean, whew.
No, and like that kind of blows my mind because how are they going to let you carry a gun when they don't even know if you can use it? It should almost be like a driving test where it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a gun, a magazine, and the bullets, load it, show me how you would do it, and then if you pass, you pass. If not, you're done.
Yeah, I think I paid $100, open book test, and then I came home, paid $40 to the state, and then I've never been arrested or my record is so squeaky clean that it took 4 days and I had my concealed carry in the mail. Yeah, the little ID card they give you that tells you how many gun owners there are.
Really?
Yeah, I got mine 2 years ago, I think, and there was like 400,000 gun owners in Wisconsin or something. So, I mean, like I said, I'm all about guns, but I think that there should be a little bit more training with an instructor. But Wisconsin's pretty laxed.
Right.
They're pretty they're pretty laxed
on the gun.
When I did it now, I mean, I don't know. Tony Evers is a Democrat. I know he's trying to do like some red flag laws and stuff like that. So I don't know how easy it is now, but it was real easy when I did it like 2 years ago. And then you just renew every 5 years.
What do you do to renew it? Just mail in a paper or something?
Yeah, just mail in your paperwork,
Wow.
and then they run your stuff again. But there's like, I can't, drink and conceal,
Okay.
you can't be drunk and have your firearm on you. They'll take it away from you.
Nice.
They'll take your conceal from you.
That's good. I don't know nothing about any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you're carrying a gun. And I'm like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
It's really not. Like, you just relax.
Well, yeah, it's just like with everything else. Some people are like, they will never even be for it. They think guns are horrible and whatever. But.
Yeah, people don't, it's hard. People don't look at statistics of things.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm not super political. I don't lean right or left, but
right. No, I think
I'm not for the left. 'Cause they're just crazy people. I mean, look, they're crazy, okay? They spent 4 years impeaching a president. Do you want to know where all that money came from? I don't think does it. Anybody guess? It came from our pockets. So,
right.
And every person that's tried to impeach him, their cities are in disarray because they're not putting any money back into it. So Nancy Pelosi is she's a leader in California. They have like the highest homeless rate per capita. So that's Maxine Waters is for Baltimore, and it's terrible. I mean, you're finding needles in the middle of the road. Same with California. California is not. That's a rough state to live in. That's rough.
One day I'm going there.
You're going to go there?
Not to live there,
God,
just to check it out. I got to check it out. I'm so kind of pissed. My husband's there now. I was supposed to go.
I saw some. I've seen some because I added him on Snapchat. So I've seen like some of his Snapchats.
Yes, I was supposed to go, and then he ended up going, and I got stuck home with the kids. So a part of me is like bitter. I'm like, I've never been, and he's been like 3 times. So it is what it is.
When I was there, it was awesome. I loved it when I was there. Now it's very different. I mean, if you go.
Where did you go?
So we lived in La Mesa, which was about 15 minutes, 20 minutes from downtown San Diego.
Okay.
So we were like 2 hours from LA. We were pretty close to like Tijuana, not too far, probably like 45 minutes, maybe less, 35 minutes. And then I worked all over. Like I worked in Encinitas, Vista, Ramona, Carlsbad.
How long were you there again? 4 years?
Little less than a year. We were there less than a year.
And you worked in all those places?
Yeah.
You really are just after the money, aren't you?
Yeah. So what I did was I get up in the morning, I'd go to work, and then what I did was all the new digital meters that you see on your houses. There's, you used to have the old dial meters.
Like for the water?
For your electricity.
I don't see any electricity meters on my house.
Well, so I'm sure
we'll go with it.
Yeah, if you go home, yours is probably on a pole. So
I live in a trailer.
Right, so it's probably So my parents lived in the trailer park by GM for like 5 years. So ours was always on a pole in between the two trailers. So if you look on that pole, there should be a meter, and it should be digital. Well, I installed and programmed the new meters to work correctly. So I'd go to someone's house, pull the old one out, take it, put the new one in, program it. And I also reconnected and disconnected power sometimes.
Have you ever been zapped?
Yeah, I've been flashed.
Really?
Yeah.
What's flashed?
Flash means a meter blew up in my face.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was wearing a face mask and it blew up. It's just a huge bright light. Knocked me on my ass though. And I've been hit. Not wearing gloves because I was a dumbass.
Right.
I almost pissed my pants. And
See?
that knocked me on my ass.
I'm surprised you're not more woke than what you are. They say getting zapped with electricity like that can help wake you up.
Yeah, that's a couple of times. Yeah, a couple of times. But when I was in California, I'd go to work. It started like 4 a.m. They'd go load my truck up with a bunch of new meters, and then I'd go and drive to all these different places, which was chaotic. I mean, sometimes I'd be on the freeway and just shut your car off, stand still.
Oh.
Yeah, so much traffic.
Yeah,
25 minutes, your car's not even running. You're just sitting in one spot.
Oh my God, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah. So
I couldn't do that.
yeah.
I'm so impatient.
It would take
get out and start
like
running.
an hour and a half for me to get 30 minutes. And then, so I'd get there and I'd do my job, install, I don't know. I was working like 12, 13 hour days when I got down there, but it was fun. I worked all over the place. So I was able to see a lot of different stuff. And then we came back and then we moved to Florida. We've been back now 2 years or 3 years. Yeah.
What did you do in Florida?
So we lived out by the DMV for a while here in Janesville.
Okay.
And I was super depressed. I don't like winter. So I hate winter.
It's winter right now.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Wisconsin. Like just what it has. There's just not that much. And I was like, well, I had been to Florida before when me and Haley went on vacation down there. And I was like, well, she came home one day and I said, look, I want to move. I said, I want to get out of here. We need to move. So originally we were moving to California. She transferred her job. Everything was all set for California. We were getting ready to leave. And then my parents said, hey, we want to go. And I said, oh, so you want to come with? And like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, this is where we're going in California, blah, blah, blah. Well, then my mom's like, I don't want to move that far away from them. So then I said, well, an even middle is Florida. It's 18 hours.
Even middle with California and Wisconsin is Florida.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily even middle.
What are you talking about?
I think time-wise. So California, it was 35 hours away where we were going to move, and then Florida's about 18.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So I said, all right, we'll go to Florida. And 2 weeks later, we left Wisconsin. We didn't have a place to live in Florida, nothing. And we left. And we drove to Florida. And me and Haley lived in a hotel for like a week and a half or something, 2 weeks. And then my parents had a friend down there, so they stayed with him. And then we found a place, and we lived right outside of St. Petersburg.
So what didn't you like about Florida?
Oh, my God. Have you been to Florida?
Just for like a Bulls game.
Just for a Bulls game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, look, anybody who lives there, kudos to them. It's crazy.
Why? Give me a little bit of something.
The people.
Okay.
Listen, if there's anything in the United States, like someone's like, oh my God, that guy's eating his arm. That person probably came from Florida. Anything real crazy that's happened.
I had a Marine that I was in charge of from Florida, and he was a little extra.
Like, listen, I'm like, if you're just in a state and somebody did something that's like really weird, not even like eating something, he just did something super weird. He probably was raised in Florida.
Not like Tennessee or Kentucky or something.
No, Florida's it's like it's like its own country, man.
Huh.
It is crazy down there. I mean, it was cool. Look, I enjoyed it. When we first got down there, I was like, this is awesome. We lived 20 minutes away from the beach, 20 minutes away from like Clearwater Beach. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. They got some of the most beautiful beaches. We lived on the west side, the west coast. So we lived in the Gulf. Not over on the Atlantic side by Orlando or anything. We were like 2 hours away, 3 hours away from Orlando. And it was cool at first. It was all right at first. And then it was just weird. Like, I'm in my house one night and some guy knocks on my door. And I'm like, so I answer the door and he's like, hey, your porch light's out, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, you know what? I think I got a bulb at my house. I'll be right back.
Oh my God.
Dude goes and gets a bulb and comes back and changes my bulb. And he's like, you just let me know if that goes out again. like, what do you?
You don't know where he came from? Is he a
No,
neighbor?
dude. I'm like, what do you? I mean, he lived close by, but what are you doing? Like, that's weird. You just
Do you think he wanted money in
I don't know,
exchange?
but it was like-
because I know people do weird ass shit like that, hoping you'll tip
It was
them.
like midnight too, which was even weirder.
God, that is so weird.
And then we were at a stoplight one time, and we had a Chrysler 200 at the time. And I look over, and there's this car next to it, and there's blood all over the side of the car, and the guy in the car is covered in blood, and he's yelling at somebody on the phone. And I'm like, babe, just don't look, because I don't want to die today. Okay?
Right. You don't want to be a witness to whatever the fuck
like,
just happened
don't.
there.
And this dude's just freaking out. It's just weird, man. There was a dead dog on the sidewalk. We called the cops, and they said, we'll get to it when we can. We're busy. Yeah, and everybody just walked right by it. Just it's a very different. We lived in a good neighborhood, but when you went to Walmart at night, you thought to yourself, am I gonna get robbed or die? And we lived in we lived like 3 blocks away from like a Alfa Romeo dealership, Lamborghini, Ferrari dealership. Like, we lived in a decent neighborhood. It was just crazy.
That sounds ridiculously crazy.
It was fun. The weather is beautiful. In the summertime, it's like 110 degrees all the time.
Right.
The wintertime is really nice, but it's a crazy state. I don't know. I wouldn't live there again. We were there 9 months.
Well, a little less than California, so clearly it didn't make the cut.
We were there. It was, like I said, at first it was fun. You go to the ocean, you go swimming, but then it was like,
It's almost like a date that you just want to take on a date, but you don't want to marry them because they're just too crazy for you.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot to do though. I mean,
Right.
everything's open late. There's all kinds of stuff. You can just walk to places if you need to, but it's.
Is there like alligators roaming like I've heard of?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Cool.
we go to the park. We went to the park one time. They're just chilling.
Yeah.
They don't fuck with you though.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't fuck with them, we went to a park and we were walking in the back trails. They're all over the place. Yeah, you see everything: armadillos, snakes, alligators. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. And it was like cool. It was like an adventure, but it was definitely crazy.
Right.
And then, if you go to Clearwater, it's basically owned by Scientology. So if you go to like downtown Clearwater, everything's like Scientology. And then, that's the headquarters anyway for Scientology. And that place, that's freaky. That's weird.
Really?
Oh, it's weird being around them because they work. It's like
Right.
you drive by at 3 a.m. and they're just all over the place, and they're wearing Navy uniforms.
Huh.
Yeah, because they're the Sea Org, and that's the same ranks like captain,
Right.
admiral, all this weird shit.
Huh.
Yeah. It's a weird. They're very, very weird. Very weird. That's a fucked up.
I'm gonna have to go.
That's a fucked up religion. You don't want to get involved in that one.
No, definitely not. No, but
No,
see, I don't believe in religion whatsoever. I think religion is the same as spirituality, basically.
Okay,
but a
yeah.
religion pushes it outward. Spirituality brings it inward and makes you the focus.
Okay. So you've only been to Florida for a Bulls game?
Yeah, and that's not even. It's like a Bulls game, not like the Bulls, but like BOWL.
I thought you meant like a.
No, like it was a Wisconsin and something like the Orange Bowl or something. Am I
okay,
saying that right?
okay, yeah, okay, like a football.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm not into sports, but
No, I don't know. I don't like Wisconsin. I wanted to move this year, but she doesn't. She's not ready to move. So
yeah, no, we're moving as soon as I'm done with that contractual job.
Out of state.
Yes.
Where?
Who knows? We got an RV. I plan to hit the road and just travel in that RV.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go Vegas. That's my.
Oh, I love Vegas. That's where the conventions are for HempWorks. Yeah. I go every year now. It's
I know.
Freaking epic.
I see. I've seen your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I have an aunt that lives right outside of Vegas. I like Henderson. I'm a big fan of Henderson.
I don't know.
And I'm a really big fight fan, and that's the fight capital.
Oh, okay.
So
cool,
I'm a huge
I
UFC
went to
fan.
a fight for I'll just name drop him because I'm sure he won't care. Devin Seitz. Do you know? Yep.
Yeah, I know his brother Dustin.
Yep.
Dustin Seitz. Yeah.
So, and that was cool. Something about that lit me up, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I could see myself in there, like just going ham.
It's fun. I used to train a little bit like jujitsu and taekwondo when I was younger, and I used to spar, with my friends, and we'd just beat the shit out of each other. But Yeah, the first guy that I had on this podcast, Sam, he's like a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. He beat the shit out of me and beat the shit out of his brother. But yeah, I never like went out and did any fought anybody matches in like an octagon or anything.
Right. Well,
but yeah, it's like the UFC fight capital. That's where the headquarters is at. So that would be, and their cannabis and hemp laws are very, very laxed, and they're very
going to a legal state, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're very clear. They're very clear in how they state them, and it's a good state. The economy's good there. The cost of living is really not. It's about the same as Wisconsin when it comes to cost of living. So it's a good spot to go, and it gets cold. It can get cold in the winter, but you're not going to get snow in the city. If you go out into the desert or the mountains, you might get some snow, but and you're pretty, you're pretty decently close to like Arizona, California, in those areas there. So you can, if you need to, I think LA from Vegas is about 5 hours, I think 5.5 hours. So it's really not too far. So yeah, that's where I'd like to go. But she wants to like buy a house and have a kid.
Yeah, it's getting about that time for you, man. It's getting
I'm
about
30.
Yeah, you better get going. What are you waiting on?
She's 28.
Let's just ask that. What are you waiting on?
So I always said I was never having a child because in my life, I said, you know what? I don't want to have to like, oh, if I can't do this because of the kid or,
Right. Well, Lord, let me tell you that's a real thing. I have 2 toddlers, and for someone like you who's an entrepreneur and really just wants to do your own shit like that, kids are not a good mix. It's hard.
So I said I'm not having kids. I'm not gonna deal with that. If I want to go somewhere, I want to do this or I want to do that. I don't want to have to be hindered by a child.
Right.
But she wants a kid,
Yeah, think of when you're older too. When you're old, you need something to relight your flame, and that's going to be watching your kid grow up to an adult, or maybe even having grandbabies. I'm a firm believer everybody should have at least 1 kid.
Well, we only want 1.
Perfect.
Yeah, 1 girl. That would be good. I
don't want a mini.
I don't want a boy.
Why? Most boys want a boy.
What's weird is I take more to women.
Okay.
So I was a mama's boy growing up. Probably why, I don't know. But I just take more to when I see, if I see like my nephew, I'm like, oh God, this goddamn kid. But then I see like Haley's little sister and I'm like, oh, I love you so much.
Well, you'd have your own little daddy's girl then probably.
So I just want 1 kid. But see, so hemophilia runs in Haley's family. So only a woman can carry the hemophilia gene and pass it on. So if she has a boy, she has a 50-50 chance he'd be hemophilia, which is not a terrible life, but it's hard for a young kid.
Okay.
It's really hard, which is like a bleeder. I don't know if you know, hemophilia is a bleeder. So, some of them, it's like if you cut them, they'll just bleed to death.
No, I think I had a friend growing up who had that, and they always wore the metal bracelet and got bruised really easily. Yep. Yeah. So
Haley's little brother is hemophilia, and he's like 15 now, but he's at brain bleeds from yelling too loud.
Wow, really? I didn't know it was that serious.
Like, so they're internal bleeders. So like her Uncle Bryce he's a bleeder. So he was in band when he was in high school. He could only walk so much, he'd get ankle bleeds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so his ankles swell up. And,
right.
And then he'd have to treat himself. So only a woman can carry the gene and pass it on to a female. She couldn't pass it on to a female. I mean, females can be a hemophilia, but there's a different name for it.
Did you know that with the way science is nowadays, you guys could pick? You could go in and...
Well, and that's what we're probably going to have to do.
Right.
Because I don't, I don't really want a boy anyway. I'd rather have a girl. But
for medical reasons too.
Well, yeah.
You could you can pick and
so she wants to stay here. She wants to get a house, and then she wants to live here. And I'm like, man, I don't want to live here. I don't live in this fucking state.
Maybe somewhere close enough to where you could still drive here within a day.
When we left Florida, we got evacuated because of Hurricane Irma.
Okay.
So we left before we were supposed to. We were moving to Nashville. We weren't coming back here.
Oh.
We were leaving after a year and moving to Nashville, but then we got evacuated, so that ruined the plans.
Well, that's Mother Nature working her thing.
And Tennessee's 10 hours away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's close.
For me, I'm like, I move anywhere, I don't give a fuck. But for her, I think she wants to stay a little closer.
Well,
For
if
me,
she
I'm
wants
like,
to have a family. She
like,
probably wants
shit.
to be around family.
I'm like, shit, I'll move. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I've never flown on a plane, so I don't know about overseas. But
I think you need to have a kid because it'll make you realize you can't wing everything for sure.
oh, I fucking wing everything.
Yep.
Oh my god, like I wing stuff so much that from the time I told her I wanted to move to Florida, it was only like 3 weeks, and then we were in Florida.
Yeah. See, that's me too.
Oh yeah,
but-
fucking screw that. No, I wake up in the morning and I go, you know what? I think I'm gonna do this today. And then
Yep.
she comes home and she's like, and I tell her and she goes, no. And I'm like, oh no, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then I do it, and she's like, Jesus, oh my god, yeah, I'm always.
And she's probably normally right, isn't she?
She's right a lot, but not. So like the TV that I have in here, this was in the living room originally, and I said, well, I think it's getting black around the edges, which it was a little bit. So we ended up going and bought a brand new TV, a 65-inch brand new TV, and and it was on a wall mount, the wall mount that's on, and we went to Menards last night, and I said, well, I think I want to put a new one up, so we bought a better one and put it up.
So you actually got a wall mount?
Well, we did, yeah. And so when I came home last night, I put it up. Well, then I said, wait a minute, I don't know, because I don't think I'm hitting the right studs. So now I told her, I said, I think I'm gonna have to move the wall mount over a little bit more. And I don't know. So I just wing shit, man.
Yeah, no, see, that would make me I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I wing stuff to a extent, but while I'm winging it, I got to make sure it's perfect.
Oh yeah, I wing.
You don't have a stud finder? You just
Well,
were
we
trying
do,
to...
but it's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, they're in studs, but it's almost like things aren't never good enough.
Right.
You know, so it's good enough. Like she hung on it. So she grabbed the wall mount and hung herself
She did
on
the monkey test?
Yeah. And she weighs, 120.
Right.
So I'm like, well, the TV's only 40 pounds. Like it's gonna hold, it's fine.
That's
and it
hilarious.
didn't move a budge. But for me, I'm like, I just wing, man. I get up in the
Right.
morning and I'm like, I'm winging shit.
And there's nothing wrong with that for now. But if you have kids, you'll have a rude awakening one day. I've been there.
See,
I've
I'm a
had it.
strict person too. Like my kid's gonna hate my guts.
No, but see, you think you're going to be strict. I thought I was going to be like military strict. And you change so much. That's why I say everybody should have at least one kid, because it completely changes you as a person. It really does.
I don't know.
It lets you know who you are more too, because you see this little human and you start to see yourself in that human, and you see stuff that you don't recognize when you look in the mirror, and you're like, holy shit, I probably do that. He probably gets that from me. And
Oh God!
it's like another
Haley
way-
tells me that she goes, "You do this all the time," and I'm like, "I don't say that all the time." She's like, "You say it all the time."
Yep.
All the time, and I'm like, "Whatever." I mean,
You
well, she wants one, so that's why I have to stay here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Wisconsin doesn't
is
really
there
have anything going
plans
for
for a kid in the future?
So the plan is our lease has been up here for a little while, so we're gonna stay here through the winter, and then she wants to buy a house. I'm not really so much interested in buying a house because I don't know if I want to be here. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy a house, and then she goes, and then maybe 6, 7, 8 months or something like that after we buy a house, we could try to have a kid. So like 2021 maybe, or something like that.
Okay.
Late 2020 or something. And then I said, well, man, I don't want to live here like forever, man. I'm not, but she doesn't want to move because we've moved. Like we've just
A
moved.
lot.
Yeah, we've just moved
Right.
a lot. So she just wants to stay in one spot. And I'm like, I said, when the cats die, then we're moving. And that's like 8 years.
Where are the cats? I have not seen one.
So one of them is probably hiding because she doesn't dig people. She's not
Okay.
like mean. Like if you petted her, she wouldn't.
What's her name?
Malaya.
Malaya. Okay.
And then the other one is Rascal, but we call him Randy.
Rascal Randy.
Yeah, and he's probably hiding too. He's usually a little jackass.
Well,
but...
I smell like dogs. I'm a dog person, so they're probably like, "Whoa, there's a dog
Yeah.
in here."
Yeah. I'm not so much of a dog guy.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I just thought of like my old screen name. It was like Devil Bitch, because in my head, like a bitch is a female dog, and I was like a Marine, so I was like a
Wow.
female devil dog. So my name used to be like, my screen name used to be Devil Bitch. That just flashed in my head.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hardcore name.
Yeah. I used to think I was so hardcore, and then that spiritual awakening just knocked me right on my ass.
Well, I know. Look, I've like, I've obviously, like, I have you on Snapchat and you're on and I watch all the stories. So like I watch your story and I've seen it, I've seen, like, you were like, you went to Vegas and you did all this stuff and I was like, man, I wish I was in Vegas. That'd be great. That sounds like fun. And then you came back and you were all upset and all this stuff. And then,
I was fucked up.
And then there was like I don't know. I don't know. You were like, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna stay on this couch and chill.
Yeah, I had to for a while.
Like
I went into a real depressive state. So let me just tap on my background a little bit. I was sexually abused as a child from my brother's friend. And like I said before, my family was just hide everything under the rug. So I held on to that forever. And I used to think, oh, that doesn't bug me. People that let that bug them, they're weak or yada, yada. I used to always come back to the strength factor where that's not me. I'm stronger than that. I'm stronger than that. And that's... You can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. It doesn't work. It bottles up. So I had a lot of anger issues, a lot of like resentment towards people in my family for allowing that to happen to me, but they never even knew it was happening. So it's just the reality that I created for myself.
Yeah.
And then the whole suicide thing, like I always have felt like I'm kind of suicidal, but something inside me was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Oh, where's my thing here?
Oh shit! It's 1:00.
We got a little bit longer. Let me finish that sentence there. So something inside of me never let me actually think that I'd kill myself in this life.
Yeah.
Like I'd get to that point, but I knew that's never the answer. So I'd even like daydream about it a little, but I knew I would never act on it.
Yeah.
And then when I find out that I already did act on it and realized you just start over, that's why I've had those thoughts of like, that's not the way to go. Like I already been there, done that. It doesn't solve your problems. You just come back in a new life with a whole fucking other set of problems. So yeah, I had to take a minute to do that self-reflecting. I was in a really depressive state. But I think I learned a lot about myself to the point where I'll never get that low again.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm back on that uphill battle of going up now. So
Yeah, because there was a few of them. You're like, I haven't showered in 2 days.
Yep.
But it's cool, man. I'm going out.
Well, see, before I'd hide all that, I have this huge social media presence and I would hide all that. So those days where I'd be depressed, I just didn't go on social media at all.
Yeah.
But then something about that awakening made me want to own it because I know if I can show people the real side of me all the time, it'll help people. And I've had people come private message me and tell me about their childhood or whatever. So I know I'm doing the right thing.
Well, being real is good. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't be fake.
Right.
A lot of people, it's hard for them to deal with me because I'm like, I'm pretty blunt. And
right.
I'm like,
me too. Like with my family family thinks I'm a spoiled, entitled bitch or whatever because I tell it how it is. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm not going to.
Right.
Like even with the sexual abuse and stuff, my family's mad that I'm coming out with it. And I'm like, why do you want me to hide my truth?
Yeah.
Like you can't grow if you hide your truth.
Well, that's bad too. Mm-hmm. I mean, you hold stuff in. You know what I mean? That's when you hold shit in, that it gets really shitty.
Right.
Things happen. Yep. I mean, internally, mentally, it's not. I mean, mentally, it's just bad, and that's why it's like I work out every day because that helps.
Yes, it does help a lot.
Working out all the time, and then just like I said, I'm just myself. Like I just don't care.
Right.
Like look.
Yep.
Like I'm super OCD with like I wash my hands a lot. When I was younger, I used to wash them raw.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to have, and like showering. Like if I don't do anything, so if I don't have, like say I'm at home and I literally just sit on the couch all day, I still have to shower. It's
what?
Yeah, it's this weird thing, man.
No, me and my husband separated last year, and I showered. I didn't shower for a whole week once. I remember, and I was like, "Is it really fucking Sunday?" Because I haven't showered since last Sunday. And my mom was coming back and forth, and she was like, "You seriously haven't showered since I've been here last?" And I was like, I seriously have not showered since you've been here last.
Haley won't. Like she'll come home if she didn't if she didn't do anything that day. She's like, why shower?
Did you see my sloth comment? How about I was like, I'm kind of like a sloth, guys. I realized if I don't move very much, I don't even have to change my clothes.
I didn't see that. I feel like Haley would say something like that. Yeah. No, I don't know what it is. I'm really I don't know. I have OCD
That's
issues.
good.
with
I
stuff.
really wish I could be more like that. So
Yeah.
I think we should maybe end on the fact that
Yeah.
it's okay to be whoever you are, and you just got to own it.
Yeah, own it.
Embrace all your quirky flaws or things about
Yeah.
you. I don't even want to call them flaws, but to some people they might
Yeah.
be flaws. But
Yeah, just don't hide shit.
exactly.
Just whatever. Let the world bask in you.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Very well. So if you want to see me living my crazy hot mess of an express life, you can follow me on pretty much any form of social media. Just Google my name, Natasha Bouton. That's Natasha space Bouton, Bouton, and I'm sure you'll find me. The only weird thing on Instagram, the T's are 7s, because 7 is my number.
Yeah, I think I looked you up on Instagram though, and it's pretty easy. And
Yep.
then you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Natasha Bouton, and me and my husband actually just started another one called Bebopping with the Boutons, because we bebop everywhere.
there
We're
you
all
go.
over the place.
So make sure you check her out on all of her social media. She's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fun character.
I'm a hoot. Let's call it that. I'm a hoot.
All right. That was fun. All right,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to Nate and Friends. I hope you enjoyed this podcast with Natasha Bouton. Make sure you follow her on all of her social medias. Check her out on her YouTube channels that she mentioned in the podcast. And make sure you follow Nate and Friends on all of our social medias and check out our website at nandfp.com. Thank you guys. Have fun. Enjoy.